The race for mayor of New York City has been upended. Mayor Eric Adams has abruptly ended his re-election campaign. Just 5 weeks before Election Day, Adams's exit leaves the field wide open and the city's political future uncertain. Polls and fundraising woes had dogged his campaign, and his departure confirms the mounting challenges he faced. Now, candidates with starkly different visions are scrambling to fill the vacuum, each hoping to lead over 8 million New Yorkers. The city's political establishment is reeling, as an incumbent dropping out so close to the election is almost unheard of. With Adams gone, the race is no longer about continuity. It's a battle between fundamentally different ideologies. The coming weeks will see intense campaigning as candidates vie for the support of voters left adrift by Adams's departure. New Yorkers must now choose between competing visions for the city's future. The outcome will shape daily life in New York for years to come. In a video statement, Mayor Adams cited insurmountable fundraising challenges as the reason for ending his campaign. He acknowledged that without the resources to compete, he couldn't effectively reach voters in the final stretch. Adams reflected on his tenure, highlighting efforts to reduce crime, improve housing, and guide the city's economic recovery. He framed his decision as putting the city's interests above personal ambition, not as a defeat. Political insiders had speculated about his exit for weeks, given his weak polling and financial disadvantage. Adams pledged a smooth transition and to continue serving until his term ends. By focusing on his administration's achievements, he aimed to control the narrative of his departure. Adams leaves the race on his own terms, hoping to be remembered for steady leadership during turbulent times. With Adams out, Zohran Mamdani, a 33-year-old Democratic socialist from Queens, is now the Democratic frontrunner. Mamdani's grassroots campaign has surged, promising radical change and focusing on affordability for working-class New Yorkers. His platform includes free city buses, city-owned grocery stores, and a rent freeze for millions of tenants. Mamdani frames the election as a choice between his people-powered movement and the interests of the wealthy elite. He's positioned himself as an outsider challenging entrenched power, resonating with frustrated voters. His rise signals a dramatic leftward shift in city politics and a growing appetite for bold progressive policies. Mamdani's coalition of young people, union members, and activists has propelled him to a commanding lead. As the Democratic nominee in a heavily blue city, his path to City Hall looks strong, but the general election still looms. The city is on the verge of a political transformation. Adams's exit triggered swift reactions from the remaining candidates, all eager to position themselves as the alternative to Mamdani. Former Governor Andrew Cuomo praised Adams's decision and is courting moderate voters, casting himself as a unifying, experienced leader. Republican Curtis Sliwa, known for his tough-on-crime stance, immediately declared himself the only candidate who can stop Mamdani. Sliwa is consolidating the anti-Mamdani vote, appealing to conservatives and moderates wary of a progressive takeover. The Cuomo-Sliwa dynamic could split the opposition, potentially making Mamdani's path easier. National figures like Donald Trump have called for a unified opposition, but both Cuomo and Sliwa remain in the race. Cuomo banks on his centrist record. Sliwa leans into his streetwise persona and public safety message. Both hope to build a coalition strong enough to challenge Mamdani's lead. The next 5 weeks will test which message resonates most with New Yorkers. The stakes have never been higher. The mayoral race has become a national flashpoint, with leaders warning of the stakes for urban America. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent cautioned that Mamdani's ambitious proposals could trigger a financial crisis, even threatening a federal bailout refusal. Critics fear his agenda will drive out businesses and destabilize the city's economy. Supporters argue the current system has failed most New Yorkers, and bold reforms like free buses and city-owned groceries are overdue. The election is now a referendum on whether to embrace a progressive overhaul or stick with a more traditional path. The outcome will determine the city's direction on policing, housing, and economic development. With just weeks to go, the debate over New York's future will intensify on every front. The choice New Yorkers make will echo far beyond the 5 boroughs.